You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's that time on a Friday. Friday nights with Nautica de la Cruz.
Oh, it's so nice to see you, Mo. Well, I got to tell you, I went to the most coolest place ever for Discover SoCal. I went to Nights of the Jack. Have you heard of it?
No, tell me more, please.
Okay, so it's the premier immersive Halloween experience. If you're looking for a Halloween experience that goes beyond the usual thrills, I had to do that, sorry. Nights of the Jack in Calabasas is the perfect destination. This immersive, family-friendly event transformed King Gillette Ranch. We'll get into that a little bit later. I'll tell you who King Gillette was. King Gillette Ranch into a stunning display of illuminated hand-carved jack-o'-lanterns. The grounds are aglow with thousands, and I mean thousands of pumpkins, each intricately designed to create scenes ranging from the eerie to the whimsical. Visitors can be captivated as they stroll through this glowing pumpkin trail, which includes elaborate light shows, you can't miss it, larger-than-life figures, and themed installations that celebrate both the spooky season and the artistry of carving. I know, I love Halloween. The event is designed to be accessible to all ages. So there was little kids from 1 year of age to teens and older adults. So whether you're bringing the kids or heading out for a date night, there's something magical about this atmosphere. The attention to the detail was remarkable. Each section of the trail offering its own unique visual surprises. And it's not just about the pumpkins, Mo. There is also food trucks offering seasonal treats and pumpkin carving demonstration and plenty of photo ops. So you can expect probably a very fun-filled night to just, kind of snap some pictures on Instagram. It was worthy, I tell you. Now, what makes Night of the Jack even more special is the setting at the historic King Gillette Ranch. It was once owned by the razor mogul King Camp Gillette. Every single man has used a Gillette razor
Gillette,
before.
the best a man can get.
Exactly. The ranch itself has a storied past and has been used for decades as a retreat, as film locations, and now the destination for seasonal events. The lush landscapes and sweeping views enhance the magical ambiance of the experience, making it not just a celebration of Halloween, but also a journey into a beautiful, preserved part of California history. And if you're in search of a way to get into the Halloween spirit that's fun, visually stunning, and historically rich, Nights of the Jack should be on the top of your list. It is magical, it is beautiful, and I want to say make sure you grab your tickets ahead of time. Now, some fun facts. King Camp Gillette is the inventor of the Gillette razors that I told you about earlier. Now, he purchased the ranch in 1926, and then architect Wallace Neff designed the Spanish colonial revival style mansion, which is kind of on the side. And that was in the late 1920s. So after Gillette's death, his wife sold it to MGM film director Clarence Brown. And then the late Bob Hope bought the ranch in 1952. So he bought it and then donated it to the Missionary Sons of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, a Catholic religious order that used the property as a seminary. So now it's used for weddings, dinner, and cocktail parties, and special events like the Nights of the Jack. And by the way, it's going to be in town in Calabasas till November 2nd. So get your tickets at nightsofthejack.com, nightsofthejack.com. Get your tickets and also your parking online. And I highly suggest that you wear very, very comfortable shoes because you'll be walking about a mile to a mile and a half.
Oh, it's that expansive.
Oh, it's big. It's really big. So if you come hungry, there's plenty of food trucks. There will be some lines, but there's so much to see. So get there. There also, when you buy the tickets online at nightsofthejack.com, you get to pick what time you want to go. 7:30, 8 o'clock. We did the 8 o'clock show. Not the 8 o'clock show, but the 8 o'clock walk, I guess. Cause so it doesn't get too crowded, but I mean, lots to see. And also one other thing I wanted to add. Remember how I mentioned earlier the intricate carvings?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Velasco Velasco Designs is the one that has done the carvings. There is some really cool carvings of celebrities. There is one that really took my breath away, which was of Kobe Bryant. It was a pumpkin carved Kobe Bryant, and right next to him was his daughter Gigi.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You're probably not allowed to take pictures, are you?
No, yes. Didn't I just say you could take pictures for Instagram? It's like
I'm sorry, I missed that. I'm sorry.
Instagram photo op place. I tell you, it's a lot of fun, but please wear comfortable shoes. And when I say that is because where you park, when you get out of the parking lot, you're basically parking on dirt and a lot of rocks. So please be careful. Do not wear heels or wedges. Just wear sneakers.
That's what I was thinking, because I was getting ready to bust out my Louboutin heels. And
I didn't know you got paid like that.
Red bottoms. What are you talking about, girl?
I'm telling you. No, but it's really cool. I've never seen anything like this for Halloween. And it's one other thing, when I did mention about kids from being 1 to, teens, it's not scary. It's really cool. It's artistic. It's an artistic exhibit, basically.
I have to ask you something, and this is somewhat serious.
Yes.
Last week you came in, you're wearing a Dodger hat. And I got you on record as far as who you're rooting for.
Yes.
And anyone who may not know, you're from New York.
Of course.
Is it the Bronx?
No, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Okay.
Yeah.
Tonight you come in with a New York Yankees hat
Yes.
on. What's going on with you? What's up?
It's. I said this last week. My heart is in New York, but my home is LA. And my dad went to the Yankees game, and so it was like I was kind of there. I said, "Hey, Dad," because he called me, and I said, "Hey, can you just put me on speaker? I just want to hear the rah!" And it was amazing. It was like I was there. But I support both teams. I have love for both teams.
How can you do that? You can't love. It's one thing if you said, "Hey, I like." I don't know, the Padres and the A's, but the Yankees and the Dodgers are diametrically opposed in every single way.
They are, but you know what? I'm an East Coast, West Coast girl, so I got love for both.
You're just going to hedge that bet. You're just going to sit on that fence all the way. But I love you, so I'll allow you to do that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Once again, go check it out. Knights of the Jack. Oh, I didn't give you the address. It's 26800 Mulholland Highway in Calabasas. The website is knightsofthejack.com. Go check it out.
And when we come back, Nautica de la Cruz will have the hidden gem for this week. It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, it's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Let's get back to Nautica de la Cruz with the hidden gem for the week.
Thank you. Well, this week's hidden gem is Tomás Cedillo. Tomás Cedillo arrived in Los Angeles from Santiago de Chile when he was just 8 years old. The move was jarring. His mother worked tirelessly to support him, but he missed having a father figure in his life. That's when Mr. Elliott, an elderly neighbor, stepped in. Mr. Elliott was a retired carpenter with a gentle demeanor and a knack for storytelling. Of course. He taught Tomás how to fix things around the house, but most importantly, he showed him how to navigate life with resilience and grace. Tomás learned lessons of discipline, kindness, and the importance of community from Mr. Elliott to become a role model that Tomás needed, a steady presence who encouraged him to believe in himself. As Tomás grew, those lessons stayed with him, shaping his path, inspired by his own teachers and the care he received from Mr. Elliott. He decided to pursue a career in education. After earning his degree, he joined the LAUSD district as a teacher, hoping that he could give back to the city and also give as much as he could. Tomás became known not just for his academic toughness, but for his deep empathy towards his students, especially those struggling with challenges he once faced as a young immigrant. His commitment to nurturing young minds was more than a job. It was a calling. Tomás's passion for guiding youth eventually led him to BAM. BAM stands for Becoming a Man Youth Guidance in Los Angeles. Along with other teachers, he began volunteering his time to the program, which focuses on mentoring boys, especially those growing up in difficult environments with strong male role models. Drawing from his own experience with Mr. Elliott, Tomás devoted countless hours to helping young men develop emotional intelligence, resilience, and self-confidence. His work with BAM, which stands again for Becoming a Man, became a way to honor his kindness and that he had shown, passing on those same values to the next generation. BAM, Youth Guidance in Los Angeles, started in 2019 as an extension of the national program founded in Chicago. The organization focuses on mentoring boys and young men of color that face systemic barriers in the communities. Their mission is to provide positive role models and guidance to help young men develop the skills they need to succeed both in school and in life. By addressing emotional regulation, conflict resolution, and responsible decision-making, BAM aims to give young men the tools to navigate their lives with confidence and integrity. The program also partners with schools across Los Angeles to offer weekly sessions led by trained mentors who foster a safe space for participants to explore their emotions and challenges. Though these sessions, boys build strong relationships with their mentors and peers, and they learn to set goals and develop strategies for overcoming obstacles. The impact has been profound. Participants in BAM have shown improvements not only in academic performance, but also in emotional health and overall well-being. For Tomás Cedillo, being a part of this initiative is a way to continue the legacy of guidance and support that changed his life. And I think that we all need a role model or a mentor. And I want to thank El Señor Gregorio Wisset. He is a retired teacher in the city of Bakersfield who referred me to Tomás Cedillo. And I got to talk to him and he told me his story. You could also donate your time or monetary donation at www.youth-guidance.org. And if you want more information, go to the tab where it says Where We Are, and you'll see Los Angeles right there.
I am a firm believer.
Yes, sir.
And proponent of role models. And this may be controversial in today's world, but gender role models. I'm not saying that a boy cannot become a man without a paternal figure around, but it makes it much more difficult. I'll give you an example. My father lost his father. He died when my father was 5 years old. So that basically meant he grew up without a father. And even though he had cousins and older male cousins, it's not the same. And he had to reverse engineer what it meant to be a man and be a father by not doing what he was watching and saw what was able to at least discern what was right and what was wrong as far as conducting himself, carrying himself, becoming a man, because just being honest, his mother could not give that to him. Now, she could give guidance.
Yes.
She could tell him, do this, don't do that. But as far as what to emulate, you got to see it. You have to experience it on some level. And that's why I'm a firm believer of being that role model. And sometimes it's implicit, not explicit. It's because of you walking into the room and people can see how you conduct yourself.
Can I ask you this question? Because I raised a daughter, right? But when you hear the expression of single mothers, I have to be a mother, I have to be mom and dad. What's the definition of you when you hear that? Like, what comes to mind when you hear that? Because I feel that boys do need a father figure. And I think a male role model is very important. And I have to say, I love some men that have stepped in, whether they're uncles or best friends, or cousins or so forth. But, when I hear that expression from mothers, it really tears my heart, because they say, I have to be mom and dad.
It rubs me the wrong way, because I don't believe that. I don't agree with it. And whenever we get closer to Mother's Day and Father's Day, you have the single moms who wanted their props on Father's Day as well. And I bristle. I just completely reject that.
Okay.
Mother's Day is for mothers, Father's Day for fathers. And just because you may be a single parent, I don't believe that you're actually doing both jobs. You are having to pick up the slack for another person, but you're not filling in as that father figure if there's only the mother, and the father's not filling in for the mother if there's only the single father. There are, like, for example, my father taught me things about relating to other men.
Okay.
how to respect a woman. And I don't know if that lands the same way coming from my mother. As far as my responsibility, talking about how to care for a woman, protect a woman. Of course, the etiquette as far as which side of the street you should be walking. You should be on the street side walking with a woman. When a woman comes into the room, you stand up. But he was explaining from the standpoint of this is what you need to do to be a man, as a protector, as a provider. And yes, I do believe in gender roles to a certain degree, because I believe a man has certain responsibilities that I'm not going to put on my wife. I'm just not.
I agree.
But that comes from my father teaching me, not my mom telling me. And there's a big difference.
Oh, yes, there is a very, very big difference. But I love that, people like Gregorio and Tomas that could stand up and help these young men they're boys, but they're going to be young men. And one day they're going to be boyfriends. They're going to be fiancés. They're going to be husbands. They're going to be grandfathers. And so you always in the back of the mind go, so-and-so taught me this, or Mr. Elliott showed me how to this, or, so forth.
And it may not be the father. It could be the pastor at church. It could be the coach of the team. It could be the counselor at school. It can come from a variety of places, but it needs to exist. It needs to be there.
Mm-hmm. He did say this, when we were on the Zoom. He did say that a lot of, some of his, young men have come to him for advice as if, they were talking to their dad. You know what I mean? Because they don't have a dad. And so he was like, sometimes that's really tough because I'm not your parent. I'm your teacher. And there's a fine line.
Yes.
Very
quickly, contact information for those who want to know more.
Yes, those who want to know more, go to youth-guidance.org. That's youth-guidance.org. And like I said, go to the tab where it says where we are and scroll down and you'll see Los Angeles, because the program originates from Chicago, but they're in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. And it's a really good program for young fellas.
Also, Frequency podcast.
Yes. Actually, we talked about you this week on the Frequency podcast. Yeah. We were talking about sports because Amy loves baseball. So, I did mention you. Frequency podcast, FREQUENSHE podcast. You could find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. It was a good episode this week. We try to just keep it fun and light for you.
All right, you just need to take off that Yankees hat when you're in the studio.
You know what? I was going to ask you to leave, but this is your studio.
Look at the time.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now on Later with Mo Kelly, Mark talks about movies and TV, pontificates about pop culture. Rahner Report with Mark Rahner.
KFI Mo Kelly, Mark Rahner with his latest Rahner Report.
Tonight we're going to talk about Smile 2. Now I'm going to play you a little bit of the trailer, but not all of it, since it's predicated on the visual element of people having creepy, demonic smiles. Also, there's a bit of naughty language that I'm going to try to catch. Stand by on the dump button, Tony.
Really cool.
Okay, let's see you get through one of these sketches. Baby, please. Ready, camera one?
What did you say?
Okay, that's not really as revelatory as one would like in a trailer played on the largely auditory venue of radio. So let's just talk about the movie. I like the idea of a horror film predicated on the idea that people smiling at you is creepy, because it is. Most of the photos I see everywhere have people posing and smiling, and the smiles always look fake and forced, and you can tell most of the time when they are genuine. But a genuine smile is spontaneous, and if you're posing for a picture, that's not spontaneous, and you got to slap on a smile anyway, because you can't just stand there staring blankly into the camera, because that's scary too. Also, if you're watching a show called From, which is in its third season now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's about people trapped in a little town where the monsters are in the form of people who move slow and smile at their human victims before they tear them to pieces. Cheapest special effect ever, this smile. If you walk around in a building with lots of pictures of people posing and smiling on the walls like we've got here, it can seem pretty ghoulish sometimes. I'm pretty sure Mo's in a couple of those around this building, and
Only one.
Honestly, it's unnerving. Stay away from grade schools, Mo. And now Smile 1 or just Smile. And by the way, I can't guarantee this, but I'd be shocked if there isn't some knockoff called Vertical Smile. If someone tries to get you watch anything with that title, demand to see the trailer first. The original Smile or Smile Prime or whatever came out in 2022, and it was a respectable little horror flick. Pretty simple and pretty clever premise. Here it is. A curse gets passed around, and it involves people doing the creepy posing by a carcass with RFK Jr. kind of smile before they commit suicide in some horrifically violent way. It might remind you a little bit of The Ring, if you remember that movie. It would definitely make a good double bill with that, or a triple bill with It Follows as well. They're all a little bit similar, all worth seeing. Not exactly the same. No big stars in the first Smile. It was made for $17 million, and it made $217 million in theaters. Now, I'm not great at math, but I can tell you that was more lucrative for investors than, say, Twitter. And I can tell you it's the kind of return that guarantees a sequel. In Smile 2, and thanks for not giving it a subtitle like Smile 2, a little spinach there, or Smile 2, you must be from Spokane. Smile 2 doesn't waste any time getting going. And you probably should see the first one before you watch it, since it begins with 6 days later on the screen, and you're not going to know what's going on if you haven't seen the first one. The sequel follows a young female pop star who's had some kind of serious troubles with an accident and drugs and the like, and she's trying to get her life and her career back on track with a new tour. She becomes ensnared by this Smile entity demon thing and begins to have a series of increasingly disturbing things happen to her, some of which are hallucinations. So we're never sure if what's happening to her and what we're seeing is real, and quite often it's not, which can get irritating. But the fact that it's not real doesn't mean it's just a fake out that doesn't matter to the story. This Smile entity demon thing is causing the woman to lose her mind, and we're along for the ride. The actress is Naomi Scott, and she's a former Disney star, and she really puts it all out there, from stark terror to full-on musical performances. Now, horror movies don't tend to get noticed for the acting, but this one should. She's great. The pop star meets somebody who may have figured out how the possession works and how to break the chain and stop it, but how easy to dispose that's going to be, especially when she can't trust anything she thinks she's seeing or doing. And we're all afraid of different things, but losing our mind and our grip on reality is one of those basic archetypal things we can all be afraid of. I don't want to get too deep into the real world aspects of it, but we're literally unable to agree on basic facts and reality now, as we're all bombarded with lies and disinformation. So there's that. Smile 2 broadens its scope beyond the first one. And the main character is a Taylor Swift type, which I imagine will bring in a lot of younger viewers who are into her. But don't let that fool you. There's some dark stuff in this and a few solid jump scares. Even though it's not a slasher film, like, say, those Terrifier movies, there's some gruesome stuff in here. Gruesome images you definitely don't want to take kids to. It's also very well put together. Lots of nice stylistic touches by the director and writer. His name is Parker Finn. I'm anxious to see what he does next. The movie's longer than it needs to be. It can get exhausting, but it's not a bad sequel at all for Halloween month. Now, also, for Halloween, just for funsies, I'm going to recommend one other horror film. This is called Oddity. 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 It's streaming for rent, and you can also find it on Shudder. This is a really well-done little spooky movie out of Ireland. It's small in scale, very nicely photographed and acted, and it's got some very uncomfortable, tense moments in it. This movie is about a blind psychic woman whose sister is killed, possibly by a nutcase who's in an insane asylum. And I'm going to play just a little bit here of the trailer just to give you a taste of it. And again, Tony, stand by on the dump button. I don't know what we're getting into.
Okay, let's see if we can get through one of these skits.
Sketches. Baby, please.
What do you want? Ready, come away?
You know, this whole clip thing isn't working so well tonight.
I know the feeling.
I'm not sure exactly what I've done wrong here, but trust me, I hate myself for it. On the 1-year anniversary of her sister's death, this blind psychic wants to go to the country house where her sister used to live with her husband, who's a doctor. Now, the doctor already has a new girlfriend, so that's awkward. Also awkward, the sister brings a crate with a life-size grotesque human mannequin in it. and the doctor has to leave for his night shift at the hospital. I'm not going to tell you much more about Oddity, except to say it's a quieter movie, which makes the shocking parts really hit harder. It's the exact opposite of those Terrifier movies that I mentioned, having seen Terrifier 1 at least, or Terrifier Prime, or Air Fryer, I don't care. I will say Oddity has quite an ending. It is a quality little ghost story. Now, to enhance the watching environment, you're going to like this, Mo. I've been watching episodes of From, outside on the back porch late at night while I exercise. Let me tell you, that makes it a little extra creepy, especially if you ever read this stuff on the Neighborhood app. I don't know if I have the nerve to watch Oddity out back in the dark, which is a good review. What do you think, Mo?
Look, when you say that you're watching it outside, I've never thought of doing that, and I might have to do that because it probably changes the whole experience of any movie you see.
It makes it a lot creepier. You're alone, out in the backyard.
Exposed.
Yeah, exposed to any serial killer that wants to hop the fence. I think it's a pretty good way to watch stuff, and it's not the first time I've done that. I will admit, I'm a little case hardened. I love Halloween month because you can just watch one horror film after another, and there's tons and tons of them that all the streamers make available. So I'm here for your quality control.
Well, we appreciate you, and you're seeing the movies that I'm usually less inclined to see because I'm not that horror slasher guy. I'll see psychological thrillers, but from the way you described Smile 2, I might have to go back and see Smile 1 and then Smile 2 because it seems like it's more psychological thriller. There's a demon aspect to it.
There's all sorts of stuff going on, but you need to be warned that there's some serious gore in it. It's not a full-on gore film. The way I put it to another horror freak, degenerate friend of mine earlier in the day was that I thought it was very watchable, but it's not ever going to be one of my favorites. I'm not going to need, whenever the Criterion Collection puts this out on a 2-disc set with commentaries, I'm not going to need that, but it's a solid watch.
But it was worth your time and money.
It was, and definitely Oddity. Oddity, if we do thumbs up, which are copyrighted, I would give it a number of those.
All righty. And there you have the Rahner Report.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Name that movie called Classic, the pre-Halloween soiree edition. As you know, if you get in for Name That Movie Called Classic, you are coming to our party on October 30th in the Honda Studios here at iHeartMedia. You might have heard our earlier conversation with Ron Ross of Wendy's, who's going to be helping us sponsor with food that's going to be prepared here for you. We're going to have burgers and all sorts of other sides for you. And also, I don't want to give away everything yet, but we're going to have some surprise guests and some surprise prizes that we're going to be giving away to the best costumes, maybe the person who drove the farthest distance. But here's the trick. You got to get past Tawala Sharp, producer of the show. So if you're giving him the wrong vibe, he may not let you through. But if you get to play the game, that means you are in and you are coming to the most anticipated party ever. There's so many great things I can't give away yet. I can't get ahead of myself. You want to be at this party on October 30th, and we're not even advertising it on the KFIAM640.com website. I haven't even put it up on my personal social media because this is just for the listeners. And Tawala's going to have to make some tough decisions. I would suggest you're very nice to Tawala. Be very nice. He has a short temper. He has a short fuse. He does not suffer fools gladly. And if he knows your voice, he knows your name, and he suspects any shenanigans, you will not be playing Name That Movie Called Classic tonight. Had some emails. They're trying to set up this place for Mark to deliver the news upstairs. Mark, has that been solidified yet?
No, this is actually news to me. Nobody's mentioned this to me, but they've mentioned it to you.
Yeah. Actually, me and Tawala, there was an email chain back and forth over the course of today talking about trying to set it up where either you're going to do the news up in the Honda studio, so they need to find your replacement down here.
And nobody thought to include me on this email chain. That's charming. I appreciate that.
Come on, you've worked here long enough. You know how that is.
Yes, I do know how it is.
There are a lot of times where I just been voluntold stuff. It's like, well, we need you to do this.
No,
really?
No, that's how it works. I get it. I'll roll however things happen to go. It's fine.
But I got your back. We're going to make sure that you're available for the people. They love Mark Rahner as much as I hate to admit it. They love you. It kills me. It just kills me.
Now you got to help me figure out something to wear. And have you revealed what you're wearing?
No, because here's my dilemma. And this is actually very serious and true. Since we will have like a pre-meet and greet before the show, people are going to be eating in the 4 to 7 o'clock range because the show starts at 7. And so we have people arriving prior to then. And I want to be available to say hello to folks, talk to folks. But I have to be physically comfortable to do the show. It can't be a distraction. So I'm going back and forth between having very simple costume, if you will, or something that is not much of a costume. It's more like a cop out, so I can stay in the space of doing the show.
So like something from Magic Mike.
Yeah, I'm not going to wear a thong. No, that's not me.
I think you should let the callers decide that.
Oh, see what you've done. See what you've done started.
Listeners, wouldn't you like to see Mo in a G-string?
No. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. That's a no, big dog. We won't be having G-strings, at least by me. Now, if some listener were to show up in a G-string, that might violate our costume policy, and Twala has more on the costume policy.
Look, if you show up in anything that is inflammatory, offensive, derogatory, or anything like that, don't try to show up and be funny in your costume trying to make a statement. Security has already been alerted. You will be denied.
That is the voice of a guy who works at a school.
No, that's a guy who's worked in the music industry and worked a lot of doors at parties before.
A lot of doors.
Yes.
A lot of doors, and have had to say, I am sorry, the guest list is closed. You know what? Security, please get this individual before I get this individual.
Yeah. Escort this person to the parking lot.
Yes.
So you just want to let you know, everyone has a little bit of funny in them. The 30th is not the night for that.
No.
Come to have a good time, be in a good festive space and place emotionally, and everyone can get along and everyone can enjoy the night. Oh, and also after the show, going to do a complete tour of iHeart and the KFI studios. So everyone who's coming, you get to see everything behind the scenes, everything. Now, the show is in the Honda studios, which is on the 5th floor. We'll bring you downstairs to where the KFI studios are. And on 5th floor, if you don't know, with iHeart, you have all the music stations for the most part. So if you want to see Real 92.3 or Alt 98.7 or My FM, we'll show you all their studios. And if you come down to the talk floor, what we call it, you get to see KFI. You get to see our partner station, AM 570 LA Sports, the Dodger station, and also the Clipper station. Get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes. When you hear like Petros and Money come on with Tim Conway Jr., he's literally 20 feet away in the next studio down the hall. Or you get to see where Mark Rahner works, where we don't have line of sight in a physical sense, but we see each other via a monitor. But you're not far away. You're about maybe 25, 30 feet away.
Spitting distance.
Yeah. But we keep the door closed
with
you might
some
spit on us.
barriers.
Yeah.
It's spitting. What?
You've never heard that term before?
Spitting distance?
Yeah. That's a common phrase.
I expect Tuala to put his foot down on all spitting during the event.
Well, during the event, absolutely. There won't be any of those shenanigans. Oh, no. Tuala runs a very tight ship.
No shenanigans, no malarkey. Tuala's on duty.
Malarkey whatsoever. Come bearing joy, come bearing festive attitudes. You come here looking for any type of kerfuffling, you will be shut down.
Don't come bearing any pasties.
No, wear the pasties just in case. Yeah,
you can wear the pasties.
You don't want anything poking through.
I stand corrected. Pardon me.
Pasties are fine.
But I will say, we will have swag to give away to all of our listeners.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have swag. I forgot to mention that. So it's going to be a
Have
great
you told
night.
them about the monstrous prize that we have to give away?
Yes, I
For
did.
the best costume?
Yes, I did. That's one of the prizes.
That's one. That is one.
We're going to have other prizes, but
Yes.
that just gives people a sense of, look, if you're here, we're going to reward you for being here. There's going to be swag. You're going to have a chance to win other prizes because of your costume. Maybe you came the farthest distance or something like that, or any number of things. We're going to have. It's going to be great. It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
We go through all the that's going on so that we can tell you just the you need to know.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles.
Orange County.
Live